Thought we were in trouble there for a second, but it's fine. We're fine.
Disney was kind enough to send me a 4K Blu-ray of Solo: A Star Wars Story. I was bugging them for it. I'm like, come on, I really want to see this movie again. Will you send me a copy of this thing so I can review it? And they did. Thank you, Disney. I was looking forward to seeing this movie. I was underwhelmed when I saw it in the theater originally. I think expectations were so high, but there was also a nervousness because Ron Howard famously took over from the famously fired Phil Lord and Chris Miller, which, they were going off in a different direction, and Ron Howard had to kind of steer it back to some of the familiar tropes that we know about Star Wars. Just sidetrack here. Can we never put a stormtrooper in the Star Wars movie universe saying "move along"? Again, can that stop? Move along. We don't need that ever again. That's like fan fiction, and that exists in this movie. And I'm not going to start by just harping on this thing, feeling like it's fan fiction or whatever, because it doesn't. There's some big budget kind of moments, particularly that train heist sequence. I thought that was terrific, but I liked it better the second time. I think I was expecting something just revolutionary the first time, and it was solid. But the second time, you can kind of see the nuance a little bit more, and you can kind of get into it a little bit more. I actually liked a lot of the performances in here. Woody Harrelson is terrific as Beckett.
You made that move, okay.
I thought Alden Ehrenreich does an admirable job as Han Solo. He's not Harrison Ford, nor will anyone ever be, because Harrison Ford is the best actor that's ever been, so we just have to agree to accept that. Donald Glover does an admirable job as Lando. He is definitely kind of playing the Billy D. Williams sort of moments.
Everything you've heard about me is true.
Like Emilia Clarke as Kira. I thought the L3 robot was okay. It was a little sort of heavy-handed and a little bit sort of in your face, like there's a message and some things that we got to get done with this character. I felt like they gave too much prominence on that character, like she was too important to the story, and I thought the comedic kind of take on, starting a revolution with robots was just a little bit too forced. It just didn't work as well as you're sitting there going, oh, they're really pushing this, and it just doesn't feel comfortable. And I think that's one of the things with Star Wars, like it's got to challenge you mentally, but also it needs to feel like comfort food a little bit. It needs to make you feel like, I know this world, I'm in this universe. And I think the movies that have shaken that up too much, some of the prequel films and The Last Jedi and Solo to a degree, there's a balance there.
Of course, now you've got a problem.
I am not a fan of the cinematography in this movie at all. It's very murky. It starts off murky on Corellia, and there's just lots of gray and blandness all the way through the film. The war scenes, which could have been riveting and exciting, are just this kind of brown-gray wash of explosions and things. You don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know if that was the idea. Let's make this movie as hazy as possible, but that's what it kind of was. Like, I popped in the 4K Blu-ray, and I've got lots of fantastic-looking 4K Blu-rays, including The Last Jedi, and I was adjusting the brightness and the contrast. I was like trying to figure out how to see the image better, and it just looked washed out and dingy, and I think that was a bad choice because it really makes the movie, it sticks with the movie. It makes the movie feel washed out and dingy, And also, when you watch the behind the scenes, there's a air of, I don't know, like they didn't hit their marks, like the group gets together, the cast and Ron Howard gets together for a round table, and it just didn't feel as celebrational as we've come to expect for behind the scenes on Star Wars stuff, I mean, they're talking about Star Wars with reverence, but the fact that this movie just wasn't a success, and now Disney has changed course on how they're going to produce Star Wars movies altogether based on the backlash from Last Jedi and from the box office on this one, it all sits there and resonates with you. And so whenever we're on set and we get a little behind-the-scenes moment of the new Millennium Falcon coming together, all kinds of cool stuff. Lucasfilm always produces great behind-the-scenes detail pieces in here. Of course, there's nothing really digging into the controversial firing of Phil Lord and Chris Miller, which would have put this behind-the-scenes stuff over the top, but all of it feels a little, there's a streak of melancholy throughout all of this, because this is a movie that didn't hit those expectations. And it's fascinating to watch through that lens, but again, I feel underwhelmed by the whole production of it. Again, I walk away from this movie feeling like, wow, there was a lot of missed opportunities, and it was not for lack of trying and lack of effort. And I don't want to blame Ron Howard for this movie not doing well at the box office or for people just sort of having a meh attitude about it, because I think that he really was behind the 8 ball and had to kind of turn the ship around and make something solid quickly, and I think he, for the most part, he did. There's a few interesting threads in here, some silly ones, some non-essential ones. It's kind of a meh experience, and I'm sad to say that even on 4K Blu-ray, it's still kind of a meh pickup. I'm going to give Solo: A Star Wars Story on 4K Blu-ray a 7 out of 10.